Good morning. I think everyone's just about settled in. My name is Mark D'Antonio, and I'm the chair of the Districting Commission that I like to call the Redistricting Commission. I want to welcome everyone today. As part of this, what we've been doing traditionally is going down the room, around the room for everyone on the commission to introduce themselves. Ms. Smith, I'm going to start with you, and we'll work our way around.
I'm Sue Smith. I'm a retired speech-language pathologist from the Muskogee County School District.
Henrietta Kane, retired and just moving back to Columbus.
Hi, my name is Connie Smith.
Barbara Chambers.
Dominic Perkins, political consultant.
Gloria Strode. I served as your 2010 and 2020 Census Liaison for the Atlanta Regional Census Center.
David Rowetter, I'm a trial lawyer with Littner and Deganian.
Ricky Boren, retired Columbus Police Department.
Jerome Williams, NAACP, and Prince of Masonic Order.
Oscar Days, pastor of Grant Chapel, AME Church here in Columbus, Georgia, educator in Chattahoochee County School System.
I'm Mary Sue Pollies. I'm a former school board member serving as the at-large district back some years ago.
Katie Bishop, born and raised in Columbus, Georgia, and co-founder of YALA Public Relations.
Wayne Hales, publisher of the Courier Echo-Latino newspaper and president of the Columbus branch NAACP.
U.D. Roberts, I'm a native of Columbus and with Brentwood Publishing.
I'm going to put you on the spot as you walk in to introduce yourself.
Ed Roldan, Muskogee County's election boards and retired military.
And Mr. Hickey?
Byron Hickey, retired Columbus Police Department.
Okay, well, thank you all for coming today. I'm so glad we have a quorum. At this point, I'm going to call on Reverend Days for an invocation.
Let us talk to God. Lord, we thank you for today. We thank you for life, health, and strength, God. We thank you for your grace and your mercy, your love and kindness, your goodness towards us. God, we ask now, Father, that you will bless us, keep us in your care. God, bless this session on today. Father, let us be able to do what's good for our neighborhoods, our city, and our communities. Father, let us not be on personal agendas, but let us be about your work, your will, your way. God, we thank you for this commission. We thank you for what you're getting ready to do in this commission. God, we give you glory, honor, and praise. In Jesus' living Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. At this time, I'm going to call on Ms. Hodge for a very brief summary of the maps that I think we're sort of settling on.
Good morning to each of you. I'll just go through this briefly. This is the presentation that we have been providing to the commission over the last several months. For those in the audience and watching at home on TV, this is just an information about the commission and how each of the scenarios were derived. Thank you. Again, this is the commission members. You've all introduced yourselves. For the 2020 census data, the total population was 206,922. Without Fort Benning is 199,814. Broken out by these demographics within Columbus. This is the 2010 census data. We were at 182,004 back in 2010. So the population target amount is 24,977 for the 8 council districts. So this is basically 199,814 divided by 8. So the target number for each one of the council districts would be 24,977. Again, each council district will not exactly meet that number, so there is a 1% variance up plus or minus 250 population within each district is the range of 24,727 to 25,227. So each of the districts, if the lines did not change, this just illustrates whether that particular district is under target or over target or on target. So we had 4 districts that were under, 3 that were over target, and 1 that was within that target range. So we had gone through and made different maps for the commission to consider over these last couple months, and as each time the commission met, there were additional requests made to make some adjustments for a particular district. So we have worked through that. This is scenario C, which is kind of where we started. Scenario D made some adjustments as the commission had requested. Scenario E and F were additional scenarios for the commission. There were additional requests made, so we came back with scenario G and H. And then time before last, there were some additional requests made for District 6. So we came back with scenarios I and J for the commission to consider.
Thank you, Ms. Hodge. It occurs to me I skipped over approval of the November 29th minutes. The minutes were distributed by email, and our copy of them are with the members. At this time, do I have a motion?
Judge, I have some corrections.
Okay.
I did share that with you, as well as the scribe. And then I did list them by the individual, and tried to give her a time so she wouldn't have to look at the entire meeting. So if we could just make those adjustments.
Okay, if you want to run through them so that the
Okay.
public can hear it.
These were key issues that did not appear in the minutes. Mr. Williams had a question to Mr. Roberts concerning the tool, the personal tool he developed in terms of trying to track the various scenarios. I had a question to Mr. Roberts about diluting. Mr. Wetter had heartburn on some things about District 8. I came back and had a statement about citizens to be heard. Ms. Bishop commented on were we just worried about something about the incumbents, not worried about incumbents in District 8 with those maps because of those challenges. Mr. Hickey came back and said he thought the citizens should also be heard. And then the attorney talked to me about transparency. And the reason that's important, you might not know, we've had broad conversations on one of the largest Columbus, Georgia social media sites, some with people that have run for office in the past, some that are leaders of organizations throughout the city. So that's why that's important, that those things are reflected according to Robert's rules. Thank you.
Okay, do I have a motion on the minutes with the amendments Ms. Strode has made?
Make a motion that we accept the minutes.
I'll second.
Any more discussion?
Judge, just real quick, for those that made the motion and second the motion, please state your name for the purpose of the minutes, please.
Any more discussion? Anyone opposed? Okay, the minutes are adopted. At this time, moving on, we finally have received some comments from on the District Commission's website, and it just, to me, makes sense to have them read into the meetings, just so folks know what's going on with them. I do want to make a couple of comments before we read these comments. At the outset of our commission, we, as a commission, did decide there were going to be certain guiding principles as to how we were drawing the maps. Those guiding principles come from the city charter about compactness and trying to make sure that we don't cut neighborhoods in half, that we have clear streets and other boundaries to do that. We also have constitutional and federal law to consider. One person, one vote is important, and equal protection under the law is important. And we, as a commission, decided that it's not up to 17 people to remove someone from office, so to speak, by gerrymandering folks out of office. And I think those are a summary of what our guiding principles have been as a commission in working through. One thing I also felt was a very important part of this was to give ample notice and opportunity to be heard by all. So I'm happy to see folks in the audience. And at this point, I'm going to call on Mr. Rowetter to read the comments we received between 3:20 in the morning and 3:50 in the morning last night, or this morning.
Thank you. At the outset, I'll say that out of the appears to be 17 comments, all of them were anonymous. I'll start with the first one. I want to see a map that is not just shaded districts, but with the streets and boundaries involved in each district. Where do I find that? Next comment. Why even have a meeting for public input when one of the commission members has already predetermined that no current city council members shall lose a council district seat because it is not fair? The procedures/rules and the fact that the distribution and makeup of each district is based on data and number of people counted. I feel that commissioner should resign immediately. Councilors are elected by voters. More people are watching these proceedings than elected officials can even imagine and talking about what's being done, and it is not only unfair to voters, but to the census process as a whole. Next comment. When an appointed commissioner gets to say what's fair about a redistricting process before a meeting or hearing is held, and the meeting/hearing is based on objective census data, he/she preempts the data. So what is the point of the meeting? Someone is going to be held accountable for not following the data and doing what's right. Next comment. In my opinion, no sitting elected official should be making comments about what they want or desire concerning the position they have been elected to serve. Elected officials serve at the pleasure of the public they represent, and to those voices they must answer. It is one thing what you want, but another thing is what voters want. Next comment. I've never seen or heard such selfish comments by elected officials. This is not fair, as if they own the council seats they were elected to represent. Next comment. No elected official has an absolute right to hold certain seats/position forever. These are not lifetime appointments, and we are not slaves on a plantation. Next comment. The mayor of Columbus that appointed the one commissioner that mentioned fairness in this redistricting process instead of numbers of voters within that district should be removed and not be allowed to participate in any part of the process, unless the voters are going to say the process was rigged and the outcome predetermined to favor the select officials. Next comment, I think, is cut off, but it starts, be allowed to participate in any part of the process, unless the voters are going to say the process was the same one. Yeah. Next one. Commissioners have a responsibility to follow the data when making redistricting and district decisions. Next comment. We need accountability from appointed commission members, not subjective feelings or what they think. Do the job that you were or are appointed to, or resign immediately. Follow the number of voters within those district boundary lines, or the mayor will answer to the voters if that process is subverted. Next comment. The voters of Columbus will not be denied, quote, due, close quote, process in the voting lines boundaries according to the number of voters. Next comment. Age should be a factor when appointing commission members, and the commissioners should not all be old people over the age of 60 years old. It is not fair to the young people and the professionals in Columbus. Next comment, and I'll take exception to that because I am under the age of 40. And I believe, as is Ms. Bishop. Next comment, the appointed Columbus Census Commission members' makeup looks like they should be in an old folks' home Where's the fairness in that? Next comment, who appointed all these old people to the commission? Next comment, Columbus is in desperate need of some youth, anyone below the age of 50 as an appointed commission member. That commission looks like Columbus has no youth at all, so young people have nothing to look forward to in terms of public service. Final comment, please stop robbing the old folks' homes for people to serve on commissions. Columbus will never progress, always will be 30 to 50 years behind the current times. That's the final comment.
Well, I appreciate that, Mr. Rowetter. As I said, I wanted everyone to be heard. I think that this does sometimes highlight the danger of anonymous comments. Having said that, I think unless there's any questions from the commission about anything we've done so far, I think I'd like to move to public comments from the folks in the audience today. Does anyone have any comments, suggestions? I see folks here. I think there's a mic. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. How are y'all doing?
Okay, will you please identify yourself?
And it is a mic. Hey there, I'm Arisha Z. Lawrence with My Black Has a Purpose, and I'm just here to make a statement to make sure that you just follow fair procedures. And there are some good people, even though they may be old with those anonymous comments. There's some good people on this commission I know that will make sure that that's done. So please, just remember that. That's all I'm here to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone else have any comments, suggestions?
Good morning.
Morning.
I just wanted to just quickly say thank you to some of the people that came out today for it to be a Saturday morning. And within Spencer, Carver, and I don't know if any other high schools are here, but I know Spencer and Carver are represented here this morning. Yes, sir. Okay. Just want to make sure. But thank you all. And when this process is done today, there's a Green Power USA race going on in Columbus, Georgia between 10th and 12th, Front Avenue to Bay Avenue. High schoolers just finished, middle schoolers are running now, and they'll do it again this afternoon. And it's the greatest thing you ever want to see. It has nothing to do with this meeting, but when you finish, please come down and support. We have 20 or 30 teams in town from all over, Georgia and Alabama. Thank you.
We have a number of other things going on today. This is a busy day, and that's why I'm trying to move the meeting along. Any other suggestions or comments from the audience?
Good morning.
Good morning. Can you identify yourself?
Yes. I'm Dr. Deborah Davis-Jones, and I represent not only myself, but the National Council of Negro Women, Columbus, Georgia section. I just want to address the comment about old people. Young people, look around this room. If you were here, you could get representation. You gotta be here. And it's so important because we are watching you, and we do expect that you treat our community correctly. And we expect that you do allow us to get adequate and proper representation, because this is what you've been charged with, and we are watching you. But young people, us old people wouldn't have to come out if you were here.
Thank you. Again, I want anyone else that has any comments to please speak up. If not, I'm going to entertain a motion. Okay, hearing none, do I have a motion by any of the commission members as to a particular map we should adopt?
I said at the last meeting which ones I like best, so I'm prepared to make a motion, but I defer to anybody else who wants to say something different. We're all deferring. Make a motion? Then I move we adopt map J, or version J.
And I'll second that. I'll second.
For purposes of the minutes, the motion was made by Mary Sue Pollies and seconded by U.D. Roberts. I'll take you, would you mind putting that map up on the screen? Okay. And I guess at this point, we'll take comments or discussion.
My only reason for suggesting this one is I've heard no objections to it. I think that it satisfies everybody's various concerns that were raised, as well as one could be.
Well, and I will say none of the maps are perfect, but that's what we're working with. Clearly, if we've gotten through or it seems like half of the alphabet, not quite, but we have worked through almost every type of scenario. I mean, there is some districts are closer to perfect than others under our guiding principles. Do we have any more comments or discussion?
I will say just one other thing, if you don't mind. I don't even know where my street that I live on falls in that district.
Well, can we pull that up?
But and I don't care. I mean, it's purely the data that we've looked at and the percentages and the numbers. So.
Right, but I think there's a way of zooming in on
Well, I know
more
my street would
detailed.
be fairly close to a thing, but it doesn't matter to me.
But,
Judge, if we could, I'd just like to suggest if we could zoom in. That was one of the complaints on the major social media site, that they could not see the streets, but the streets are there.
right, can you pull up the interactive map?
Right, for the one that, before we take the vote.
I think
And if
that-
Ms. Hodge could please just give a quick recap. In the event, this is the first time someone has heard this, just on the J.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
Sure. So the interactive map is available out on the city's webpage on the Districting Commission. There's a tab at the top of the webpage that will get you to the Districting Commission webpage, and this map is out there where you can zoom in on all of the different scenarios and see where those changes are. But basically, District 2 and District 6 were over our target number. So District 1 and District 3 and District 4 had minor changes. District 7 was under target, so it had to pull in from District 8 or District 3. So it took a portion from District 3, a portion from District 8. District 8, of course, had to, if it's giving up, population has to grow, pulled in from a portion in District 5 and a portion in District 2. And then District 5 had to grow, and it took a portion of District 6 up in the Panhandle. So it was just really a shift and minor changes to most of the districts, and just really District 7 had to grow, District 8 had to then shift into District 2, and District 5 had to shift a little bit into District 6. The demographics for this particular scenario, all of the district except District 8 were within a 3% variance, plus or minus, for each of the demographic categories. District 8 in this particular scenario was over the 3% at 4.91%, but without making any changes to the guiding principles, this is really the best scenario that we were able to develop based on what we heard from the commission.
Thank you, Ms. Hodge. Do we have any other discussion or comments?
Judge, before we vote, I would just like to say thank you once again to Ms. Hodge and her team for the job that y'all did. I know that this was a pretty tedious process for you all starting out, so once again, I can appreciate the hard work that y'all put into this, and just want to say thank you once again.
You're welcome.
Well, actually, and I apologize, I have some vision issues. I do see someone, we had public comments, but you're here. Can you identify yourself? And I'll be glad to hear about map J.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry I'm late. I find that now that I've gotten so elderly, I don't get to move as quickly as I would like. My name is Teresa Alamine, and I'm the board chair of the Southern Anti-Racism Network. We're a nonprofit here in Columbus for the last 11 years, working on affordable housing, education, equity, and public safety, public health, funded by the crime prevention grants. And I watched the October 28th meeting, and I was stunned to hear the spouse of the head of elections, the former chief of police, say that the driving force behind your process is protecting incumbency. It was scandalous. From my point of view, good people, the driving force should be protecting democratic engagement by all the citizens. Columbus consolidated government prides itself on being the first consolidated government in Georgia, happening a few years after the Voting Rights Act passed. Everybody Black who is conscious, Mr. Hales, understands that our voting rights have been suppressed from the moment we got them in the South. And consolidated governments is a way of suppressing the Black vote. That's why in this majority people of color community, you have a majority white city council. You have never had a Black mayor. When I got here in December 2010 and saw how many Black people there were here, I couldn't believe my eyes. And when I saw the census report, I know that this is a majority people of color county. So Eupatoy, Midland, all that other stuff, which is overwhelmingly white, I think, but inside of the city limits of Columbus, what you have is a lot of Black people and a lot of poor Black people. I work with them thanks to an agreement with the Housing Authority. I work with people in Wilson homes. I know what they are suffering. 3 murders this year since June. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and the mayor's office is up. No one should run unopposed. No one. If you protect incumbency, you protect people running unopposed, which is the style in this community. I've never seen so many people running unopposed in my life. To have 2 of the at-large seats in this community, both are people of European descent. I do understand that part of that is a lack of civic engagement on the part of Black people. That's a role for the NAACP to correct. When I look at the precincts and who's voting, and I see the Black precincts and how low the voter turnout is, that's a problem for the NAACP, because the NAACP is one of the few 100-year-old organizations in this country, and it has stood for fairness for those of us who are not white. And I see in this process the kind of unethical, incestuous, patronage type approach to democracy that should end. It's just a matter of time, because I'm going to organize as fast as I can to end it. But this may be a fait accompli, because I see you getting ready to vote. But in 2024, 2026, we have to get ourselves together. 13579 in the mayor's office. No one should run unopposed. And you protecting incumbency flies in the face of that principle. The line should be drawn evenly so there's an even number of voters in each district, not drawn to protect incumbency. It's outrageous as a thought. I am done.
Thank you very much. Do we have any more comments about map J, since that's where we are right now? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to call for a vote. And I think this is when we probably need to raise our hands. Any more comments? Okay. All in favor of the motion, please vote. All in favor, please raise your hand. With my vision, it's hard for me to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Do we have a unanimous? Okay. One against? Okay. Well, and to clarify, the one against, whoever, just so for the minutes, everyone can see this. Okay. Well, it sounds like the motion passed. Looks like the commission has adopted map J. I want to thank everyone for being here. I actually, in terms of the comments we just had, I think it's very, very important that everyone become engaged in our community. I think it's very, very important that everyone gets out and votes. I think it's very important that we do everything we can, and it has been our guiding principles about one person, one vote, and equal protection. In addition to not having just speak just briefly about the incumbency issue, the theory is that 17 people up here it would be a less democratic process for us to gerrymander somebody out of their district by virtue of where they live than to have the voters get somebody out of office if they're not happy. But anyway, I greatly appreciate everyone here today. I greatly appreciate y'all indulging me about making this a much longer process than many of you thought it was going to be. But I did want to give everyone notice and an opportunity to be heard, and I think we have successfully completed that. Ms. Hodge, do you have a comment?
I just wanted to mention what the next part of this process is. This recommendation will go to City Council for consideration next Tuesday. It will be on first reading December the 7th. It will also have to go to the reapportionment office from the state to be certified before council can approve it. And so we'll be starting that process, but it is on first reading December the 7th in this particular building in these chambers at 9 a.m.
So for the public to be heard again, I encourage you to come out at 9 o'clock on Tuesday. Thank you all. We're adjourned.